Sonic Prime Season 2 is out, and it's actually pretty good, just short of really good, so we're settling on pretty. Most immediately noticeable from the very first episode is that Season 2 has real emotions that were just kind of missing in the first season. We see Sonic confront the crushing responsibility of what he'd done by shattering everything, just breaking reality apart into so many disparate pieces. The first season failed to really make him confront that in any meaningful capacity or take responsibility for what had happened, but in this one, it's beaten into him, literally and metaphorically, until he has no choice but to accept it. He's the kind of person who doesn't know what he has until it's gone, you know? And now that he knows it's definitely gone, he wants it back more than anything. It's a very compelling conflict, and Sonic has a great, heavily relatable character flaw in that he always acts before thinking, well befitting, his gotta go fast nature. He does say gotta go fast in this, by the way, and I hate that. Shadow gets a lot more screen time as well. He exists in this season to be the reasonable, stoic straight man, and it's really good to have him around. It's good to have someone act sensible, They managed to keep the gruff nature of his personality without overindulging, and he has some really good depth and dynamics with Sonic. It's a great adaptation of his character. He feels so full of duty, but he's not lacking in any vibrant characteristics in spite of that. It's not like he's flamboyant, but he's not a brick wall either. It's good stuff. 9 probably gets the best character development out of any of the characters in this season. There's this existential misery and feeling of loneliness that permeates him because, unlike Sonic, he has nothing to go back to, and he's afraid of being the only one without a future. He's also constantly compared to the real Tails, the one from the Prime universe, so that isn't helping him any. All the Council of Chaos members get so much more time to shine in Season 2. They're really the highlight of the show. We see so much of their unstable, varied reactions and interactions. They have hugely rewarding personalities and relationship dynamics, and every scene with them is a treat. The season draws explicit attention to the unsustainability of their thirst for endless conquest and what that really costs. I love that. I love their mech designs. I love their animation. I love their voice acting. They really hold the show up. And, just in general, you might have been able to notice from what I've been saying so far, the characterization is leagues above what it used to be in the first season, all around. Unfortunately, they do go back to the other Shatter Spaces besides Green Hill and New York City. They go back to Boss Cage Maze and the Pirate Zone, which I think is called Nowhere Zone or something like that for some reason. When Sonic goes back to the Boss Cage Maze, one of the first things he says is, "I gotta find the Boss Cage gang," and it's like, no you don't. Why would you? They don't really do much to help. They just complicate things. They make the story more convoluted. They didn't help in the previous season either, really. Everyone gets a turn holding the idiot ball. There's some occasional non-dialogue and so many contrivances born from unstated character traits. Like there's this scene where the pirates in Nowhere Water Zone, or whatever it is, where they get hold of one of Eggman's ships, or I should say the Council of Chaos ships, and they just immediately know how it works. They know how this future technology works and are able to get it up and going pretty easily. How? How do they know that? There's also characters constantly making comical oversights and baffling decisions which lead to needless convoluted plot elements.
What's the point in holding hostages if they're just getting killed? Where was he that whole time? Yeah, where was Dr. D? This is the worst hostage taking I've ever seen in my life.
He came back with the shark.
Yeah, right? The crew saw Sonic leave, and Pirate Dread Knuckles is like, he abandoned us. But then he came back, and not only did he come back, which someone who abandoned you wouldn't do.
Yeah.
That's not what a deserter does. But he returned with the shard, which was the plan.
Yeah. I can't imagine what they thought, Sonic...
Yeah, what does the crew think Sonic is doing? How could they possibly believe Sonic betrayed them? It doesn't make any sense. Dread's plan is ridiculous.
Speaking of Dread, the really idiotic pirate captain character, he's treated as something of a wild card in this season, which is only a good thing. Introducing a completely uncertain element like that, you have no idea who he's working for, whose side he's going to take at any given moment. That's cool. The whole season's plot line, its narrative structure, plays out like kind of a discount Namek saga from Dragon Ball Z, where everyone's searching for the Shadow Shards instead of Dragon Balls, and they're constantly switching hands, and the whole world, or multiple worlds, I suppose, the whole Shadowverse, as they call it, is at stake. And, you know, a discount Namek saga is still pretty good. There are a lot of pieces in play, and I don't want to downplay how difficult it is to write a story with this much going on. They do a surprisingly good job on average of keeping track of everyone. The action, I think the action is mediocre to outstanding. It trends toward the latter thanks to the animation. Some of the squash and stretch animation for Sonic and Shadow in particular is absolutely gorgeous to see in motion. No complaints about that. The fights could be a bit more creative, but the fluidity is there. As to the odds they face during the action, though, the Egg Forcers, we need something else. I'm so tired of the Egg Forcers. They keep summoning more of these cannon fodder robots. It's Egg Forcers, Egg Forcers, Egg Forcers, Egg Forcers. So many Egg Forcers. They're useless no matter how many upgrades they get. Sometimes they just stand around and don't shoot, or elsewise when they do shoot, they're constantly missing. It never feels like any of the characters are in real danger. And that's something true of Season 2 in general, is that any situation where there might be tension, or even the potential for tension, the show deliberately sabotages itself by spoiling it. Like, you know exactly how everything's going to go in advance, which is super strange because there are so many plot twists in this season, but you see all of them coming a mile away. In spite of that, right? In spite of all that, this feels overall like an action cartoon from a bygone era in the most affectionate way possible. They also made everything better here. They paid mind to what worked and downplayed what didn't work. The first season was a pretty mediocre affair on average with some cool ideas, but this is genuinely special and interesting. I'm glad it exists. Hey everyone, you made it. Welcome to the end of the video. I'm actually pretty surprised by how much I enjoyed Sonic Prime Season 2. You know, it is generally the case that shows get worse over time. This one got better. It got significantly better. I'm excited to see Season 3 if it does happen, and I feel like they could pull it off. I really feel like they had plentiful new ideas for this season, and I was genuinely surprised and impressed. With that out of the way, it's time to thank my lovely patrons. I'll show them on a list shortly, but before then, I will tell you that there is a link to my Patreon, and if you click join on my YouTube channel, you get the same perks, those being I'll make media analysis videos based on your requests, and you'll get early access to my videos. But yes, thank you so much to my patrons. Without them, what I do really would not be possible. I cannot stress that enough. Thank you all so much for your time and thoughts, and I'll talk to you in the next video.
Always be yourself, but if you can be a unicorn, always be a unicorn. Always be yourself, but if you can be a unicorn, always be a unicorn.